thinks whatever information has gone from him would have reached to him, but that is not the case, which we say is the modification. So, this is another attack which is there. So, this is the all attacks which can be possible, or it is a fabrication. A does not send any information, but there is another fellow C who fabricate a message and sends it to B on the name of A, and he pretends that he is A and send this particular information over here. So, these are the different types of security attacks which are possible in this sort of a scenario. Now, similar to this, these are the some of the wired network threats which are possible. Let us say this is my network, wired network, where all computers are connected through the cables. Now, there is an intruder there. What is his functionality? How does your threats comes over there? There is an intruder who scans the network ports. So, it keeps on scanning the network ports of all the users, and ultimately he gets some user where there is he can enter into his system. So, that is what we say is the intruder finds a vulnerable system through which he can enter into the system and attack. Now, once he has entered into this particular system, now he will be able to attack all the other systems which are there in this particular network there. So, this is the mechanism, these are threats which we say is a security threat, कि somebody from outside, he keeps on attacking your system, he keeps on scanning all the ports, because if I look at, there are thousands of ports which are there. Even if one of the port is open through which he can access your system, that becomes a hole through which whole of your system can be, whole of your network can be accessed by him. So, this is what we say the wired network threats. And what he does is obtain access to a network as a user and gains control of the network as a super user and start attacking all the systems which are there on your network. Now, then we can think about a wireless security threat also, because it is not that all the systems are connected to each other. Maybe you have got a system which are connected to the system not through the wires, it is a wireless connection which can be there. Maybe this is what we have, let us say this is what we have got our network, which we have got, maybe it is a some network, either Ethernet or some access point, a network or a mesh network, any network is there, but idea is a wireless network which can be there. How it can be attacked? There may be some misconfigured access point, okay, just like there is some access point through which I am able to access this particular system, or there is somebody there sitting here who is a part of this system, and he set up his own network here and able to access your network. Or there is another user sitting here, he is outside the network, again accessing this particular network, or there is another network nearby, wireless network which is there. This is the network which is around, and somebody is able to attack through his network to your network there. So, these are the mechanisms through which your wireless network can be attacked by various users there. So, these are the two threats which are there, one in a wired network, other is a wireless network, but usually we do not find this in a isolation, we find them in totality. Okay, I may be heterogeneous network which is a wired and a wireless network. So, your attack can be both. There can be some misconfigured access point which can be there in a heterogeneous network, or there is a nearby network which can be affecting your network there. So, what we need is, we need some mechanism through which we can think about a security. Maybe this is the misconception which people have got. Okay, in case I put up a devices, my network will be secured. It may not be, because I have to think about a policy, I think of a mechanism through which I can secure my network there. So, what we do is, we try to fortify the boundary of the network. Okay, we say it is a perimeter security. let us say if I wanted to secure my house, what do? I put up a boundary wall around my house there. So, this can be one mechanism, but can I think about putting all the putting walls only around the house? Maybe you are not able to enter into your house. What you do? You put up a gate there through which somebody can enter. But are you sure every legitimate fellow would be entering to your house? It may not be. So, what you do is you put up a security guard there. What is the function of the security guard? He just looks at the fellow, he just identifies whether he is a genuine fellow or legitimate fellow who are to enter into my house. I allow him to enter into my house. So, that is what we say is the perimeter security. Okay, I put up a boundary wall around my house and I put up a gate there, put up somebody there whose role is to allow only legitimate users, legitimate person to enter into my house, and others are not permitted to enter into my house there. So, same is true in case of a network. What we do is we define a boundary of the network. That is, what we do is I do not leave my whole of the network open. I allow, okay, this is the place from where you can enter into my house there or enter into my network. So, one of device is router. Okay, router defines from where one has to enter into my house there, or rather it has to transfer the traffic to the different places. Or we have got a firewall, it just allows some of the traffic to enter into my system, it allows other traffic not to enter into my system there. Or I define IDS within my system only. Okay, even if somebody is able to befool my firewall, router and able to enter into my system there has to some mechanism through which I can have a intrusion detection as far as my system is concerned. Okay, I find out, okay, this is the intrusion which is happening into my system. What is the intrusion? Intrusion is a unnatural behavior which is happening in a system. As I gave the example, okay, at night in my statistics, my bandwidth usage is only 15 to 20%. That is based on the 3 months data, 4 months data or 6 months data. But suddenly I realize that at night too, my internet bandwidth usage become 90% or more than that. So, what does it mean? It is abnormal behavior which is happening into my system. So, there must be some intrusion who is performing this thing. So, I must think of some mechanism through which I can detect this sort of intrusion, maybe your statistical analysis or anomaly detection. These are some of the mechanism through which we can detect anomalies which are happening into my system there. Or I can think of a virtual private network devices which I can set up a virtual private network, just like maybe most of the big companies, what they do is they allow their users, allow their employees to work from their places. So, how does this happen? Okay, what they do is they set up a virtual private networks within the existing network only and allow users to use their servers through that particular network there. Or you think of some software through which you can provide this sort of a security there, or you just define demilitarized zones. We will talk about this. Demilitarized zone is there is a set of policies which has been built up for particular zones, and for the other zone there may be some other policies which has been built up there. I can think about a zone where all my servers have been installed. I think of one set of security policies over there and another set of policies where public servers are there. I think of some other policies there, or there can, and we say the screen subnets which are built up into my network only. Now, what is a router? It is basically traffic, just like a traffic cop. What is his basic role? The moment traffic comes to him, he gives the direction, okay, you go to this direction, you go to this direction, and let us say in case traffic has to go to the application servers, it redirects it to replication server. In case it has to go to public server, it redirects to public server. In case it has to go to some other place, it redirects to some other place there. And that is what we say, direct traffic into, out and within the network. So, what is traffic has to go into the network, what is the traffic which has to go out of the network, and where within the network, where exactly this traffic has to go, this is defined by the router there, and last border to contact the routers. Then we have got a firewall. This is basically a device where all rules are defined, which is the traffic to be allowed, which is the traffic not to be allowed. Let us say there is a certain IP from where I do not want my traffic to enter into my system. I define this particular rule in my firewall only, okay, this particular traffic should not be allowed in this particular network there. Or I define that these are some of the sites which my users should not be able to view. Then I define the names of the various sites, and I say, okay, in this particular sites users will not be allowed to enter. So, that can be another mechanism through which you can think about allowing or not allowing a traffic for a system there. Or we think of IDS, intrusion detection systems. Okay, it is basically burglar alarm. Just like you got a home, you put an alarm there. Okay, in case somebody open this particular door, there will be hooter which will be there. So, IDS is similar to that only. Okay, the moment it detects some abnormal behavior into set network, it gives a warning. One is it gives warning only once, or it keeps on warning the users there. So, and in a malicious events, it gives the alerts, it detects any malicious event and alert the user about that. So, in a network you think about various types of a point where you would like to put this sort of intrusion detection systems. Maybe you have got a NIDS or HIDS, these are two types of IDS which are there. Now, idea is in case I can find out, okay, this is a point where I can put up the honeypot into my network. So, that in case user they are attracted to that server, because the security in that particular moment are too low in this particular network there. And virtual private network, they are the protected network session formed across a unprotected, because the channel through which your data goes, that is an unprotected channel. That is the biggest hurdle in providing the security as far as the network is concerned. The system which is available to me, network which is available to me, is transferring the data which is unprotected network there. I can protect my system A, I can protect my system B, but the wire or the channel through which my data has to go, this is usually unprotected. That is what we say. VPN is, we built up a protected network session across a unprotected network, and these are the devices on perimeter that enable encrypted session. They are encrypted session, nobody can fiddle with those sessions, and VPN allows an outsider to access internal network resources as or she is a legitimate user there. So, that is the characteristics of a virtual private network. Okay, just like I give example of an industry. In case my servers are in Delhi, but my organization allows me to have this sort of a VPN connection, then sitting at home I can work upon that particular system. But only thing is that is a secured session within the unsecured network there. And what is the advantage of this? Maybe in the IT industry these days is surviving upon this only. Okay, all the devices, all the things which I got as that is being used and manpower is used in this particular scenario there. And then we say software, okay, what sort of a software architecture has been built up for your network that enables you to think about is securing your parameter there. Now, or we think about demilitarized zones. Let us say you have got an internet, you have got a firewall and you have got an internet, And what we do is we screen subnet is an isolated network that is connected to a dedicated interface of a firewall. Okay, with this firewall I connect a part of the network and that is segregated from the server that needs to be accessed as the public user. So, that is all. Okay, in case of a internet, in case of a demilitarized zones, in case a data is there, in case it is a internet based data, maybe I do not allow. Okay, from the internet I can't go to demilitarized zones, but from the internet I can have this sort of a transmission there. So, this is what we say is a demilitarized zones, where there is a out of the network only, I just do not allow some other things to enter into that particular network. So, this is a case study which I have got for you, that is LAN and a WAN interface of the Punjab Engineering College, maybe it is a deemed university these days. So, this is what our network look like. Okay, we have got a internet, we have got a router, we have got a outside network. So, what does we mean by outside network? How does my network is being looked after to the outside world? So, I got, let us say this is my internet which is available to me, and this is the router which is there, and this is my outside network. My router is able to access from the outside network whatever is the data coming, that is coming through the global IP there. I hope you can differentiate between the global IP and the local IP. Global IP is which is given to you by the internet service provider. Okay, this is the global IP which is there for your network. But in case there are 100 users within the network only, you define some local IP for them also. Then how do you differentiate between the global IP and the local IP? They have got a different address mechanism. But as for outside world, they are recognized by that particular number only. So, this is what we have got. Maybe you have got a firewall, you have got NDS or VPNs which are available over here. Now, this is where my core switches are residing. All my core switches which I say is the core to my system are residing over here, and this is my application network. And this is what I have got a demilitarized zone, my mail server, my other server which are there, which are public servers there, they are available over here. Now, so this is a what I say is your mail server, your switches, everything is available here. Now, how does this communication takes place? Let us say how exactly my network can be accessed. Either it can be accessed from the outside, then in case somebody has to access my network from outside, he has to come from here, go over to internet, come back to router, go to global IP and go to the firewall, go to the core switch and come back over here. So, this is what we say a traffic which is from the outside the virtual private network. Okay. Any node which is from the virtual private network, it is accessing through this particular internet there. That means, outside the world nobody can enter into my system straightway or through this particular core switch, but he has to come through the internet. Then he has got his own security mechanism which has been built up for him. That is, first of all, he has got his global IP, it will come to my firewall, it will check whether this particular traffic is to be allowed or not, only then I will be thinking of allowing this particular traffic there. So, then let us say it has to access my application network, it will be just going through my application network only. Maybe these servers are not available to him, or this particular network which is a core network which is available to me is not available to him, or it can be traffic from the outside, my internet traffic is there. Now, what is the difference between this user and this user? This particular user is a generic internet user for my servers, maybe he is to access one of my mail server there. That is that means the traffic which is coming from the outside, look, both the traffics are coming from the outside only, but this particular traffic is unknown to me, whereas this traffic is known to me. he is my user who is trying to access my network there, whereas this particular person is just trying to send a mail to me only. So, that is the difference between these two users there. Now, how do I protect myself? Okay, in case of my internal communication, all my communication will be passing through this particular thing. All my internal communication, if at all is there, it will be passing through this and going to the global IP and getting into my system there. All my internal communication, if it is an internal communication, if it has to access some switch servers there, it will be accessing through this. And if somebody has to access within the own network, then he will not go through the firewall. So, that is the characteristics which were built up in the Punjab Engineering College network there, through which we can think about a security. Because in case, how do I make it secured? Because once my unknown users are not able to access this particular part and this particular part, that means my system is secured, and at most they can access my mail servers there, because they are to send a mail at this particular server here. And in case of my user, in case he has to send a mail, then maybe he will be accessing my firewall to go to this particular part. Maybe you got some routing mechanism through which it can be routed over here. All my mails, my other public utility which are there can be accessed through the core switcher. That means, my internal network fellow, he can access any of the things which is available over here and over here and over here. That is what we had defined as a privileges for the my node which is there from the inside there. And how about the outsider? Outsider is in case, no, how do you differentiate between this user and this user? Both the users are known to me, but this user is within the network only. That is within the network only he is trying to access. That is why he is not going through all the internet and the firewalls there, in case he is to access the other nodes there, or he is to access this particular node. Now, how about this particular user? Once he leaves my network, goes home and start using my network only, then he cannot straight away enter into my core switch. He will have come over here and go to my internet, and then he will be accessing through the global IP there. That means, router will be defining where exactly his traffic has to go. Maybe his traffic has to, because why I would like to access my network sitting at home. Let us say I have to develop certain application. In that particular scenario, I need to access the some of the application software which is available on my system here, or in case maybe he is to send the mail, maybe he will be accessing through this particular mechanism. So, that is how we, in PC for the security purposes, we had defined our network in a such a way that I had defined my intranet. This is what we say is my intranet. That is, users, they are able to access all this sitting within the network only. So, what are the advantage of this? They get a faster access, because they are not depending upon the internet bandwidth, but they are depending upon the bandwidth which I got for my own network there. And once he becomes outside to my network, then he becomes a user which may be a slower user in that case, because he is accessing through the internet which he has got at his own home, and coming to my router, coming to my global IP, coming to my firewall and accessing the core switch over there. So, this is what we say a network traffic has to go through once if I would like to have my security and network security is one of the parameters there. So, in nutshell what we have discussed today is we started with what are the security requirements, why I had to think about securing my network, because most of the critical applications they are going upon my network only. In the earlier days things were not upon my network, but it used to be on my desktop where I will be the one who is using the system. And another is critical application are entering over there, maybe your hospital information, air traffic information, all are coming over there. So, then we discuss about what sort of attacks are possible. One can just fabricate some information for which I would not send, make certain changes into the information. So, what we have to think about is some sort of and we discuss about how exactly I can be attacked. I can be attacked through my own network, maybe it is a wired network through I can be attacked, or through a wireless network which can be attacked, or it can be hybrid network through which I can be attacked over there. Then we discuss about various devices through which I can protect my network. You have got a firewall, you have got a router, you got a, that is what we say the parameter level security, security through which I can just protect my network from the outside world. So, maybe you have got a demilitarized zones, you have got some software through which you can protect, or you have got a virtual private network through which you can protect your uses as far as the system is concerned. That is what we say parameter security. Then we discuss about an example which we say the PEC LAN. I gave you the example is a case study how exactly a secure network can be configured. It can be because what is happening is everyone is trying to make some network, but that network may not be strong enough to take care of the outside world, the world which is there within my own network, or I have got other places which has to be accessed. Because how exactly I define my network? It may be some for the public uses, it can be for my own application uses, or it can be my within to within network there. So, all these are nothing but the mechanisms through which we work out a secure network over there. Now, putting up a devices may not all the time help. You have to think about how exactly I can make my policies, how can I implement the policy for making this network as a secure network. I think this is what I thought I will discuss with you. Thank you very much.